Three, two, one. Good afternoon, everybody. Another Mainline Strength and Conditioning podcast with today's guest is Scott Myrick. Scott's a former lieutenant in the Bureau of Prisons, happily retired now. And Scott, let's hear about your story, man. How you got involved in this, the Bureau of Prisons and everything else you've been involved in.
Well, Mac, nice to see you.
You too.
I left from Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office right as USP Pollock was being built, and ended up scooping up a job there because they paid starting pay then was $32,000 a year, 32,690, something like that. And interviewed out there and waited and waited and waited, and finally got a job. Started there as a GS5 back when Warden Castro and I would only bring people in as fives. I think they're coming in as what, sixes or even higher than that now.
Let's talk about where'd you grow up? Louisiana?
Baton Rouge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Grew up in Baton Rouge, transferred, went to college right there in Pineville, Louisiana College, which is now Louisiana Christian University or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then,
How'd you like growing up in Louisiana? A lot of outdoor activity and
yeah. Lots of full wheeler riding, mud trucks, and snakes.
any sports in your past or?
A little bit of football in high school, but nothing that would carry you into college.
Right. So what years did you start in the Rapides Parish?
That was in 2001, and then I started the Bureau in 2003.
Were you a street deputy?
Yes, sir. D shift.
Okay. How'd you like that? I mean, because I remember, well, back then, I mean, Rapides wasn't, I mean, from what I saw, what I remember, it wasn't very busy, but I'm sure there was some stuff going on.
It was always slow. There wasn't a whole lot going on unless you made something go on.
Right. So then right into the Bureau, huh?
Yep.
What year was that?
2003.
Okay. So how many people did you start with?
I think we had a class of 18.
Oh, wow.
And by our first year, we were cut down to maybe half of that, maybe 10.
Why do you think that was? What'd you see?
Two of them went to, well, say two of them. One of them went to prison for sure. Reggie Wilson. The other Wilson, I don't know if they were brothers or not. I couldn't remember.
Right.
He ended up getting fired, and a handful of other ones just quit because it just wasn't for them.
Yeah, when I was in Coleman, we had these they called them twins. They're actually identical twin brothers, and they both I want to say their last names were Williams. And they both ended up being dirty as all hell.
That's something I've never understood.
I don't know if they shared the same cell or anything, but you never know. All right, let's hear about let's hear about Pollock. How'd you enjoy your first few weeks or months?
It was good. We had a good round of lieutenants there that would actually take you and show you, and it, unlike now where you have to be the kinder, gentler bureau, right. They would actually bring you in the office, chew your ass up and down, and put you back out, and then watch you screw it up again and bring you back and do it again.
Right.
But they were very hands-on. I mean, we had a Lieutenant Mike Taylor. He would actually go around a morning watch and, hey, look at your keys. Look at the numbers that are on there. When I come around tomorrow, I want to know what every key goes to. And he'd walk around with you and, okay, show me what it goes to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know they don't do that anymore.
No. And at that time, nobody knew there was a master book and control that said what they all go to. None of us rookies did anyway. So we were out all night long seeing what keys go to what.
All right. That's good. You guys are checking each other, keeping tabs on each other. That's good. It's the way you're supposed to be, right? Taking care of each other.
Yep. And we had some of them that would always do that what if game.
Yeah, right.
If you're here, what if?
Now, how long before did they already have inmates by then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How many was it full already?
Yeah, fairly full.
Oh. Yeah, they filled that place up pretty quick, I remember, from what I remember. Because I think wasn't it did they dump a lot of Beaumont?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know.
Probably.
For a while there was a big flood of them that went over there real quick. So how'd you compared to like were you in like shock as soon as you started? Because was it violent from the get go or what from Pollock?
No, it was always their well behaved inmates that got shipped over.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have a fight every now and then, and every now and then a lock on a belt would get used.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a while before anybody ever saw a real shank.
Right. Which probably didn't take too long.
No, no. And then I see on my rookie year they had a huge black white thing out on the yard just towards the end of it when rookies could still work shoe.
Right.
And everybody got broke in that day.
I bet. How bad was that?
Um, if I remember right, and I know he's retired, I know Garcia was there and Pimentel was there, both lieutenants. Um, I remember it kind of being all over A, B, and C yard and all over the housing units.
Now, that was I mean that was back before the fences and everything because
Yeah.
they were actually putting the fences up when I transferred to Pollock.
Yeah.
You guys had without fences for a long time.
Yep.
Just like a big giant football field with a bunch of crazy maniacs running around. Really.
Yep. No, it.
So would you basically work just housing units or what?
I worked morning watch for my first rookie or for my first rookie year. For my rookie year, I stayed on mostly morning watch, and then after that, I did a quarter second annual, which was, the usual abuse you get.
Right.
And crap that I moved. We were probably on the second page of the seniority roster, and I was able to get evening watch, and I did some evening watch with Sunday, Monday, and evening watch with weekends. So but I stayed East Corridor facilities corridor, and I think it was C1 or C2.
because didn't go from left to right, it went ABC, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all the way. Yeah. Yep.
Double stacked.
Yeah. I remember running them stairs. Whew, man. There's some tough runs up there.
Yeah, especially when you got to go to A3 or A4.
Yeah. And then especially A units all the way. What was that? Probably 400 or 500 meters. Probably about 400-meter run, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, that's that quarter-mile run they make you do in Glencoe.
Yeah, it was pretty long. I remember that, especially when it was like blazing hot, 1,000 degrees out in Louisiana. It was great, good times.
Yep, always.
So how long did you stay at Pollock?
Let's see. I was there from 2003 to the first part of 2018.
Wow, you spent a lot of time there. Huh? Jeez.
Yep. Yep, because when you were acting captain there, I had in for Yazoo and got bounced and ended up picking it up there.
Okay.
No.
How long? So you pretty much worked every post though, huh? Because I remember you were all over the place all the time.
Yep. I worked every post that was there. Sometimes double times that same day because of mandatory.
What about did you shoe as far as shoe in Pollock? I remember that place being pretty rough.
I stayed out of shoe after they put up the extra cameras in there because when my group started the bureau, there was no, hey captain, we need a team. It was I'm not going to throw that lieutenant's name out because he's retired now too, but it was Mr. Myrick or Mr. Whoever, hold that broom in front of the camera, and then you'd get the slot back.
Yep.
And then they put all the extra stuff up there, and I left, and that lieutenant left.
Can't blame him there. Yeah. So after Pollock, I mean, what do you think? I know seeing all the things that we saw together, even at Pollock, did that affect you at all? You think?
There were some long days where you wonder why, especially when staff get assaulted, you wonder what went wrong, or you always hear, I don't know. I'm sure they probably don't even have to read it anymore in Glencoe, but there was a book, Games Inmates Play or something like that, and you always wonder, did he get assaulted because of this, or the wrong place, wrong time, or he was just doing his job and the inmate was checking in? But there are days where you wonder things. And then, well, you were there. Were you there when me and Mike were compound rovers? I don't remember.
Mm.
We were always out shaking shit down all the time.
Oh, yeah, I was there. Yep.
Um, Little things like that, and then you find out, oh, this guy did get assaulted because of this,
Mhm.
and
I mean, just
that,
like I remember that one officer that got assaulted, seriously assaulted, and all he would, I think it was the night before or that day, he found a bunch of hooch, and then he just got. I mean, that was
got a
horrific.
blip.
Horrific. That was a very tough video to watch. That was tough.
Yeah,
That was terrible. Terrible.
yeah. It's little things like that. You wonder, is you never wondered if the administration would have your back at that time.
Yeah.
Because we were always supported everything we did, but we had probably the best captain um, the best captain I've ever worked for, probably the best one that's ever gone through Pollock.
Oh yeah, hands down. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I had him on my podcast not too long ago.
did you?
Yeah. Yeah, you should watch that video. It's pretty good. I remember when he came in, man, because I want to say I was working. I got sent over to the medium for a quarter. Just that's just the way the roster went. And so I was supposed to be like evening watch ops at the medium. I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. Be so boring. And then I remember he showed up, and I think it was like his second or third day there, and they were both in Radiska's office, and he's like, "Hey, McDonald." He's like, "What the hell are you doing over here?" I was like, "Well, I'm over here for the court." He's like, "Not anymore. Like effective tomorrow, you're back over there as evening watch ops. You and Fitzgerald take back the yard." I said, "Take back the yard as in take back the yard." He said, "You know what I'm saying. Take back the yard." I said, "All right, I got you." And we took it back pretty quick. That place, whoo, man, that place was wild. It was
Yep.
wild. I remember like my first day there. Oh man, it was Tip was there. First day we're in the lieutenant's office, and man, body alarm after body alarm, running around and running with gas in our jackets and that we weren't even supposed to have, and all kinds of craziness. It was great. It
Yep. But it was always protected, covered.
was always supported. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yep. So what after so you spent what's that, 15 years you spent there at Pollock?
Yep.
Jeez, man. Did you ever do any time over at the medium? Were you pretty much
Yeah. I went to shoe over there for a little while
okay.
because I worked with Miss English and thoroughly enjoyed that. Um, as much of a as much of a bitch as she can be, I really enjoyed working with her because when you were right, you were right, and when you were wrong, she'd show you what you did, show you how to fix it, and that was the end of it.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you are.
Pause for a second. Hmm. Still here, Scott.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I kind of live out. Done it. You always find out sometimes it's not the right way, so she'd correct you on it.
Hold on. I totally missed that because you got cut out.
Okay.
Rose, what were you saying?
Um, Whenever you think you're doing it the right way, because that's the way we've always done it this way.
Right.
She'd be correcting you very firmly, but I enjoyed working with her.
Now I know you're a part of the union there, right?
A steward, yes, sir.
How'd you like
And
doing? Because I know,
whenever you,
I mean, I know like the way, like when I came up through the bureau, it was like most of the union people. I mean,
you froze.
I never. Oh, so when oh, you keep freezing. Still there? All right.
Yep, there you are.
Hopefully it doesn't keep doing this. But you got some clouds passing over your house?
Not right now. It's
Like I was saying, like when I started in '93, I was never like a huge like union guy and this and that, union this, union that. I was just like, let me just go do my job and that's it. If I'm doing something wrong, and so be it, then I guess I'll take my licks. I mean, a lot of people don't. I mean, I always liked, especially as when I was a captain and lieutenant, I never had a problem working with the union people. I mean, they never. I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong to make them,
yeah.
bother me or whatever you want to say. And it was funny. It was like when a few other institutions I worked as a captain, it was like they'd come up to me and be like, "Oh, we heard you got a problem with this." I was like, "No, man, I don't even know who you are. Let's go talk." And then it would like totally change everything. So, which was always nice. So, how'd you like being a union steward?
Um, it's less than what you think. It's a kind of a bunch of headaches some days.
Yeah.
And other days, I think there's not even a spot for the union.
True.
And that's working in SIS because whenever I in-house promoted, I went to SIS, and then when I came to Wasika, I stayed in SIS. It's more like you said, if you're not doing anything you're not supposed to do, then it's going to get taken care of.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean
So
that's. I mean, I noticed it a lot with when I came up to Chicago. They had a pretty strong union, and I mean the union president was a great guy. Got along really well with him. He's actually a former Marine, so we had that in common already, and it kind of like hit it off really well. And yeah, we had a good time together, working out problems that could be worked out. I
yep.
mean, it wasn't really any too many problems, except for the ones that people created. So
Yeah, and whenever I got to Wasika, the lieutenant that I replaced in there, I think he went to he may go to Coleman actually. Squirrel. He was like, whenever you have issues and you got to interview somebody, he goes call the union president, which everybody already knows. If we want to help or we don't,
yeah,
because there was a few turn bags up here, and I mean they let them sink, and it right, wrong, or indifferent. 99% of the little cases up here in Wasika were he called me bitch, or he said this, or nothing real major.
oh man, working with females, that is such a trip. It is insane. I mean,
Well,
huh?
the real big problem up here is that it's the female institution, but then there's really no inmate issue, so it's all staff.
It's all staff. That's what it ends up being, just staff. It's just staff issues after issue. Yeah, because I mean, same with when we had that mission change in Danbury, it was we went from a low facility, white collar crime guys, mafia guys from New York and things like that, and to all these women from all over the country. Man, it was a mess from the get go. People dropping like flies. I mean, I think we figured it out one night sitting in control, and it was like the first year or so, I think we lost like 75 staff, like just getting walked out left and right, resigning, going to jail, something, and being involved with inmates. It was terrible, terrible. Some good, I mean, for the most part, some really good officers. When the males were there and then females showed up in it, they just went to shit real quick. We actually had two. We had a lieutenant and like a real senior GS8. They were messing around with the same female inmate, and of course they didn't know it. And the story went like they were like the officer was in there, and the lieutenant was supposedly doing rounds for the unit. Of course, probably trying to find her. And those two bumped into each other like in the middle of the night, and they started fighting and everything. It was, man, it was just like, man, what are you guys doing, man?
And why?
Yeah, exactly. All right, to get back to Pollock. So how you said you were in SS? How long were you in SS?
Let's see. I in-housed in late part of 14, early part of 15. and I did a quarter of that they serenade you with, oh, AM activity. I did a quarter of that, and then went straight to the shop.
Oh, nice. How'd you like that? Big change of pace, right?
Yeah, very, because everything you guys didn't know, you guys didn't. Well, maybe somebody else knew. I didn't know. Your phone rings off the hook whether you're at home or on vacation or
Yeah.
at work, but at medium.
Right, right. Were you at the pen or the medium?
I was at the pen,
Okay.
but we do some meetings over at the medium, and they burn up your phone looking for you.
How'd you enjoy SS though? Was it something you thought it was going to be, or was it a little bit more?
It was always what I thought, but there was more to it, and just you don't want to say some of the you saw the bad side of some of the staff.
Yeah, right,
The
right.
ones you thought were just solid gold people, and they're not.
Mhm.
But on the flip side, some of the ones that you thought were real dirt bags never were.
Hmm.
So it was nice, but it was not nice.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely look at people different. I mean, when you're involved in that on that side of it, you're like, oh man, and I mean, you gotta have contact with the people too. So I
Yeah.
mean, even they're under investigation or they're suspected of something or whatever, whatever. And you gotta, I mean, like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, you SOB, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be near you, man. You know?
And I don't have a good poker face. I'm always going, shit, I don't want to see this person. So
Oh, that's funny. So after Pollock, so what happened after Pollock?
I transferred up here to Wasika, and ended up getting divorced after, well, right at 20 years. She didn't make the move. She stayed at Clico, and uh, things fell apart. Um, it just is what it is.
It is what it is, man. It's a tough. I
Um,
mean, hey, we're in a tough business, man. It's tough. I know relationships. It's hard. I mean, it sounds like an excuse, but it is.
yeah, it's 1,100 miles from my driveway, just under, from my driveway to her driveway.
Ooh, it's a
So
long ride, brother.
it takes 24 plus hours to drive it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear you. I know exactly what you mean. So
But yeah,
what I know when we were talking about you coming on the podcast and you know, you can be as open as you want. Now, did you have problems before you left Pollock and
with,
then you
with her,
transferred up here that
yeah,
resulted in something that followed you? You
yeah.
mind talking about that? I mean, please be,
So,
you know, detailed as
it,
you want.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to transfer, make sure your spouse comes with you. Otherwise, she will open up her legs.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's how that went. And you get a phone call from somebody that you trust and says, if you don't know what she's doing, here's what she's doing.
Mm. Yeah, that's terrible to hear.
Yeah, then you take a quick flight or a quick drive home, because you have the blessings of your AW, and you run into said person and her.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
Now, did something happen where it followed you to Wasika or?
I had a case that actually, don't let them tell you can't transfer with the case, because I had a case that followed me well, from Pollock to here and never got cleaned up. And then, well, it kind of got cleaned up. So,
What you mind saying what case it was? What was it?
uh, well, there was a little use of force over in C2, like literally the week before I left,
Mhm.
and it was supposed to have been cleaned up and didn't. But I found out about that right before I went to Rochester to work. They're like, "Oh yeah, you remember this?" So,
Mm. Yeah, I've been on that boat too. Yep. Yeah.
and then over in Wasika, I caught two BS cases and had to go through MSPB to get my job back. But they were not inmate related, by the way.
Now, Rochester, where'd you go to first? Rochester or
No, I
Wasika?
went to Wasika first.
Okay. So what happened? Talk.
Um, Staff accusations. Whenever they say, "Oh, well, he's doing," So, and you have a captain, you met mine. You have a captain who doesn't support you because he had too many cases. And then the ball rolls, and the ball rolls hard.
Right. So what they do to you?
I was removed. I was removed from as they had, how was it worded? Removed from service effective 11:59 p.m. And all over the charges are the appearance.
So
Yeah.
allegations.
Yeah.
Allegations by staff?
Yeah.
Or was it really?
Yeah, by staff.
Well,
And
saying what was it about them? What were they saying? You
unprofessional conduct and inappropriate supervisor subordinate relationship. Yeah, the appearance of.
Oh, okay. So how did they justify that? I mean, you must have seen the details since you went to court and everything.
Oh yeah, they had the old SIS lieutenant who'd since retired, or like two, I guess it would have been two SIS lieutenants ago. A person out in the community that I've never met, and a picture of me dropping my dog off.
And that's what they had.
Yeah.
Great. Some great investigative skills there.
Yeah. So I filed to the MSPB, which is, the grieving process for supervisors.
Yeah.
And the bureau drag it out there like, well, absolutely not, absolutely not. But ended up with my job back. I got enough money to pay off my house, a car, and then transferred to Rochester.
And now so they fired you, and then you how long did you have to wait to go to MSPB court?
I filed it the next day because you have to wait 24 hours. But I was up bright and early the next morning, sitting down, filing everything on the MSPB website. And then I retained an attorney out of Minneapolis, Dan Leland, and he was chomping at the bit. He's done it several times. He said he's represented several former supervisors in Waseca. So, and when we got in there, he tore everything apart like I did, and poked holes all through it.
What did he find?
Well, the first thing he asked the agency was, well, what's the appearance?
Right.
And the agency's attorney just kind of sat there dumbfounded. And Judge Moran sat there and kind of poked and laughed back at him. And she's like, this isn't going to fly, guys. You should have never fired him.
Yeah. Damn.
So, yeah, I was out for right at a year and a month or something like that. And
time. What'd you do in between though? What did you do to support yourself in between?
Farm.
Did you own the farm beforehand?
No, because I got put in time out, the staff shoe. I got put in time out, and there were 60 acres right down the road from the prison. So I pulled out of my TSP, bought that, and lived off that.
What were you farming?
Soybeans.
How profitable was that for you? Pretty good, or what?
You get $13. Well, I think it's 2 years ago. It's probably 12 and some change dollars a bushel, and you get about 90 bushels per acre, and 45 of it's farmable. So, I mean, I did okay.
Yeah. So you must have still been like, oh, I don't know, should I even bother with the BOP? But I mean, I know you still. I mean, I know what I would do. I mean, I'd be fighting tooth and nail, especially if it's a bunch of BS like it was, and I'd be like, all right, guess I'll do this for now, and then I'll get you back when I get there. So.
Yep. And whenever I was returned to service, Judge Moran was like, you're going to pay them everything that you owe them. And they took all, kind of like the union does. And I want all the overtime that I would have worked, because I would work overtime up here on my own. Right. I'd work overtime all the time. Somebody needed a day off, somebody sick. Hey, I'll work it.
Right.
So they took the average of that for my first year and some change. And they paid very nicely.
I bet. Hey, they earned that, right? They earned that check.
And then they were told again that apparently cases before mine that they're not supposed to use the appearance of for any charges. And they were told again, you can't do this. But yet there's another lieutenant from Wasika that's tied up on the appearance of right now.
What is the deal with Wasika? Why is it still going on like that?
No inmate issues, no inmate drama.
Hmm. But you'd figure
So
they've learned from just your experience alone that you can't be saying that stuff and just it's those allegations like that. I mean, especially without solid facts.
yeah, but yeah, it's the same exact thing that she's dealing with right now.
So what were they saying? They're messing with a staff member?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I mean, and it was quite comical because now me and her are married, but she actually watched when you were up here doing the program or the operational review.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like the same week, maybe a week prior to that, all this started coming down because it was. I went and dropped that sleeping dog right there. Went and dropped her off, and took off to Louisiana. So
once you got back, you said you went to Rochester?
Yeah.
And how long did you stay there?
On paper, it would have been from the next day, but God, I went over there in like February of last year. And I worked all the way through January this year.
So not even just about a full year then, huh? And then you're done.
Yeah.
Now you told me earlier that you were able to retire after that.
Yep. So I got a phone call, and it was one of those, if you don't know what's happening or what happened in the background, because you don't ever get all the emails and all the other stuff. You get the investigative reports. So I talked to that person because I don't want to put him out because he's still working for the Bureau, who told me that. Talked to my attorney again, and he subpoenaed everything. And I was set up by my old warden, and like literally it was destroy him, fire him, make sure he doesn't work. So
were they making more allegations against you?
No, it was just worse.
Harassment on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make your life hell.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I had that too, when I went from, as I call it, my escape from Coleman, when I escaped Coleman and went to Butner, and I stepped down and I became a cook foreman, from a GS-11 lieutenant to a cook foreman. And I'll say his name, Tracy Johns, total dirtbag. Same thing, man. He tried to hammer me like you would not believe. That dude tried to get me so many times on everything. So can't get me.
They got me, but I got them in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally living hell, but got the emails. Dan presented everything to the agency, and I came in and they were like, "Hey, we're going to offer you this if you don't make a stink." So I got my full 25-year retirement, and I'm done.
And what do you what kind of things was he doing to you?
Oh, she?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, it was destroy him, find something, just make sure he never works again.
Huh? And what people, supervisors at Rochester were trying to get you, or what?
No, everybody over there. I got along great with everybody over there. The lieutenant's office over there is just kind of like they were in Pollock. Everybody looked after each other.
Right.
But they were like, "Hey, check this out. Here's a copy. Look at this."
Like what? Like, give me an example.
If he does this, then get him for this. Sick leave abuse. Well, I'd always ask the lieutenants, "Are you a doctor?" And most of them already knew. Leave the old man alone. Let him do his time. Be done. But I mean, I would have stayed over there all the way through the very, very end of actually getting 25 years as opposed to.
Yeah, what you did, what did you say, 17 and a half?
After Rochester ended up being like 18 and a half, something like that. But
that's rough. And I know I mean, I didn't go through that where I was terminated, but man, that's tough. I went through some hell too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But would I do it again? The Bureau was good to us. The Bureau was very good. There's good. The pendulum swings, from side to side. But the Bureau overall was good. I don't know that I'd want to be a rookie in this Bureau.
No, definitely not.
I don't even know. I know one supervisor from Rochester. If he hadn't stepped down or retired, he will be soon. Just because of new lieutenant audits they have out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got something new they have to do. I don't remember what Jason said he had to do, but he's like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. So,
they just couldn't let it work like it usually did. I mean, we never had a problem. I mean, all the things we had to do. I mean, we had a lot of work too. As lieutenants, as captains, we had a ton of work to do, and everything worked fine. But I mean, not you see it too in the news with this the new director and all the all the allegations of mismanagement and how poor the staff are, which I mean, we both seen it. You run across those people, but instead of focusing on the good of it, they focus only on the bad. Like,
yeah, they're giving too much attention to that 1%.
I mean, like the last thing I remember I've seen a couple weeks ago, I believe it was that pistol that was supposedly some pistol inside the camp in Tucson, I believe it was.
Oh, Tucson?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to me. Crazy.
I'm surprised we never had that being out there in the woods where Pollock is, but
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
we time, our staff work down there would shake down. So
yeah. Oh yeah, big time. All the time. All the time. We did have that one scare one time. We found a bunch of found like a whole bag of weapons one time. I don't know if you knew about that. We did a
pillowcase full.
Yeah, we did we did like this patrol, and I can't remember the background of it because I was right out there in the middle of it, and we found all kinds of stuff. Where the hell is this coming from? I don't know, just a bunch of crazy people, I guess. So what are you up to now?
Well, harvest is finally over. And today I took a nap with my dog, drinking another round of coffee. And here in a little bit, I got to go out to the farm, go out there and make sure everything's squared away, and then get ready I'll start cooking for making stuff tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
Right. Still doing the soybeans, or is it different farm or same one?
No, same one. I don't have any soybeans left out there. They're all harvested, but I don't. With it being way up there, I'm 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
I go out there once a day, and nobody knows you're there. Kind of like the broken window theory. Nobody knows you're there. Hey, if I can swing by and do this, nobody notices.
Yeah.
I try to go by once a day and be seen out there.
Nice.
Because what's mine is mine.
Good for you. Good, man. What so what do you think like one of the questions I sent you was what was like one of the harder things besides being terminated, what do you think one of the harder things you had to go through personally throughout your career?
It's going to sound crazy. Leaving Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
Where you leave, it was probably for, well, I don't know. You sound like you had a little rough time there in Coleman too, like I did in Waukesha. When you leave your home, you leave where I'll throw their names out there. I know they're still working for the Bureau, but actually, I think Farmer transferred up here somewhere. But you've got Null and you've got Farmer, and you have a handful of other just great staff that no matter what goes on, whether they like you or not, they're going to have your back. You leave people like that, you go to a spot where you don't know anybody.
Yeah, then you got to start all over.
Yep.
People trying to check your background and seeing what you're all about, testing you, and oh yeah.
So that was probably the hardest thing was leaving. But I got up here, and I mean, I was able to reach back out because they, like up here in Waseca, they didn't use the not your emergency management sheet, but the thing that our amazing old captain had. Hey, if this happens,
check sheets.
Yeah, here's my 10-man team. If this happens, sorry about that. My mom's trying to call.
All right.
I don't know where you went. I don't know how to turn it off on this thing. There you are. Um, like the check sheet, my 5-man team, my 10-man team, all that. So I called down to Pollock, got another lieutenant down there to send it back to me. And I started using that. And it was, oh, you're paranoid. Oh, you're paranoid.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, until
this is what happens here. You know,
they keep saying that. Don't say it too loud because it's gonna happen.
yeah.
Because I mean, same thing. Just like in when I was a deputy captain in Yazoo, they're like, "What do you mean? What check sheet? We don't need to do that." Okay, well, guess what? We're gonna do it. So this is why we're gonna do it. And well, we don't need to do it. Well, Captain Glenn says you're gonna do it, so do it. And then when something does happen, guess what's the first thing they after action ask for? Hey, you got that check sheet? Oh, look at that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Doesn't it make things a little bit easier for you? Yeah.
Yeah. I would always take mine and send a copy to control. Right. And I told everybody that was on my check sheet, because if I was doing evening watch or something like that, I'd tell everybody, hey, you and you are on the trip or whatever. Yeah. But I'd send it to control because I had an amazing control room officer on evening watch. And he would just, no problem. He goes, I'll make sure everything's taken care of. He would be the male version of Zena Washington.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, on everything. So
I mean that's just smart communication. I mean, that's the way to get it done, I mean, instead of hiding, like instead of last minute Lieutenant Myrick scrambling to like, oh, I gotta get a 10-man team. They already know who they are. Mm-hmm. They already know who the 5-man team is. They know I'm going on the trip if there's a trip. Do it all the time. I remember doing that when I was like super young in the bureau. Or even before check sheets, I'd tell Lieutenant, "Hey, LT, if you need BBT, I'll go." It's like, "All right, you and Smith will go." So, perfect. All right. We'd hear something go on and be like, "I guess I'm going to the hospital."
Overtime. Yep. But yeah, that was probably the hardest thing, was leaving Pollock.
Right.
But overall, I guess you could say the best thing was leaving Pollock. Because I mean, there was issues there at my house.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Just is what it is. The bureau has an amazing way of doing that to people.
Sure do. Yeah. So what? So once you got now that you're retired and you're farming, what's next for you? Just doing what you're doing.
So I enjoy it a lot. I wouldn't mind trying to find a little part-time job, but at the same time, I mean, like today, I woke up. I'm not going to go out to farm this morning. I'm going to go this afternoon when it warms up, because we're up to 32 degrees right now. So it was cold this morning. It was like 17. Wake up, do what I need to do, take a nap with the dog. Life is good.
That's good. Hey, you earned it, man. Definitely earned it. I mean, being through those bumps and bruises of getting terminated and putting up with some crap you didn't really need to. Totally understand.
Definitely. But yeah, I think the worst part of it is getting up when you're used to a routine, and now you don't have a routine anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, it was funny because when I decided to retire, I kind of told myself, I know, because I don't know if you knew, but I went from captain to employee development manager too.
Yeah, to the EDM.
Yeah. And I don't know why I did it. Now that I look back, I'm like, I don't even know why I did it, because I was like there for I think I was there for like 3 months, 3 or 4 months, and I was like wasn't even at work. And and that was still during the time of like, everybody's COVID crazy, and just I was like, I can't put up with this crap anymore. So I mean, I was coming up on 28 years, and like, I think I'm done. And I told a lot of people, because they're like, man, you're taking a lot of time off. I was like, yeah, I have a ton of sick time to get rid of. I'm not going to give anything back to the bureau. I mean, I earn this sick leave for one. after almost 28 years of working there, and I'm going to burn it to the very end, just to get rid of it. I mean, I think I left maybe with like 4 hours of sick leave and a
Yeah, I think
whole bunch of annual leave. But what are you going to do? And plus, like I was saying, I was telling some people who were thinking about retiring, I said, hey, if you're going to retire and you have the opportunity, take as much time off as you can, because the transition of going from being in prison right out to the street, even as an employee, kind of like,
it's
it's kind of,
difficult.
it's kind of a shock, it's kind of a shock. You're like, whoa, hey, you're going like from a million miles an hour to like you said, like, oh, I'll wake up and figure out what I'm going to do. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, they're probably fine with it, but other people, I mean, I didn't enjoy it. I had to find a second job before I left. I mean, it's not much. I'm not doing much, but still, it's just had to do something just to stay busy.
Yeah. So the problem for me finding something would be I still got to work around. Yeah. All the equipment's cleaned up and put in the shops, and become planting time. That's
Yeah.
going to be for probably 2 weeks of solid planting. 16 days, 16-hour days. And then harvest drags on and on and on and on. And that's if everything works right.
Yeah.
So,
Depending on the weather and everything, right?
yeah. Yeah, because you get rain, you're not cutting beans. But yeah, that's my life now. Being old and
You're not an old man. You ain't
drinking. Dog.
old. So what do you have any any advice for any new staff? Like if people listen here or are newer staff, you got any advice for anybody?
Keep your head up. Um, it's inmate friendly right now, and in a few years, or God, you never know, it might be a few months with this new director, it'll change. The bureau will treat you good if you do what you're supposed to do. That's why policy is kind of gray instead of black or white, so you can be pulled back in either way. Don't be dirtbag. Don't be dirty.
There you go.
Take cheap shots if you can. Just know where the camera is.
Be careful with that. We don't gotta be careful with that one.
Yeah. Know your audience. Know who's there.
Want to get in trouble with that. Definitely don't want to get in trouble with that.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays. I mean,
Yeah. Now they're trying to prosecute everybody.
everyone's getting nailed for something, man. All right, man. Well, it was awesome to talk to you.
Yes, sir. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Sure. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, bye.